Centipede.
Sup YouTube, Official Gaming Network, and welcome to episode 35 of our Mario game in Java tutorial. Last episode, we implemented piranha plants into our game. This episode, we're going to be implementing power stars into our game. Now, if you're a bit unsure what a power star is, which I find highly unlikely, well, it's pretty much a power-up throughout the Mario Bros. Series that whenever you pop up a question block, sometimes there's this little star that bounces around, and when you actually get it, you're pretty much invincible for a few seconds. And that's what we're going to be implementing today. If there's a topic you want me to do an episode on in the next tutorial series, then all you have to do is leave a comment in the comment section below. Alright, so if we go into GIMP, and you can see I have a star sprite that I didn't copy off the internet because I'm really good at drawing sprites. Alright, so yeah, because I made a sprite, just going to go to our game class, do the usual thing we do when we actually create a sprite. So we'll make a public static sprite, and we'll just call it star. And in our init method, in our game class, we'll set star equal to a new star. The x coordinate is 7, y coordinate is 1, and the sprite sheet is of course sheet. Alright. Oh, actually star is equal to new sprite, not star is equal to new star. Anyway, now we're going to create the class for our star. So now we're going to go into our entity package, go to our Powerup package, and go right click and create a new class. And this class will be called Power Star. And of course we have to do the usual thing that we do when we create entities or tiles. We need to extend the superclass, in this case being entity. Import the right entity, and of course add the necessary constructor and abstract methods render and tick. So we just delete all the comments that we don't need. And in our render method, of course, we want to make our power star look like the star sprite I created and didn't copy off the internet. So yeah, of course, we have to draw a buffered image like we usually do. We type g.draw image, then the image we want to draw. So in this case, it's game.star.get buffered image. The x coordinate of the buffered image will of course be get x, get y. The width and height of the buffered image will be get width and get height. And the observer is null. We need to import game. And there we go. So now, of course, like any power-up, when it first pops out of its power-up box, then it starts moving in a random direction, being left or right. So we're just going to do that now. We're going to go into our mushroom class and just copy the dir switch, as well as like us creating an integer called dir or direction. I really should say direction. It feels like it sounds kind of stupid saying dir. It's not one of those things that sound like dumb after you say it for a long time. It's just one of those things that sound stupid in general. So I'll just say direction. So paste your direction switch into your power stars constructor, and we need to create a private random object called random, as we are trying to use an object called random that doesn't exist yet. So in our constructor, we'll set random equal to new random, and make a private random above your constructor. So yeah, anyway, we want to make our star move a bit faster than a velx of 2. So let's change our velx to, let's say, 4. Alright, there we go. And because you've probably seen in the Mario games that the stars bounce around, what we're going to do is that we're going to go into our game class. Actually, no, our player class. And we're going to scroll down to our tick method. and copy the if jumping and if falling if statements. So I'll copy them, and we can paste it into our power stars tick method. Alright, and we can remove and going down pipe is equal to false in this if statements because we're not using the going down pipe boolean in our power star class. So now we're pretty much going to make our star jump whenever it hits the ground. So we need to check for collision with tiles. So of course we've got to create our tile for loop like usual. You should know what it is by now. For in I is equal to 0, I is less than handler.tile.size, then I++, then make a tile object and set it equal to handler.tile.getI. And of course we need to import tile, and we're going to make an if statement inside of this for loop, and the if statement will be checking if t dot is solid is equal to true, and if that's true we're going to create an if statement inside of that if statement. We'll be checking if the bottom of our power star is colliding with the top is colliding with a solid tile. So yeah, in our t dot is solid if statement we're going to be checking if our power stars get bounce bottom rectangle is intersecting the tiles get bounds rectangle. So type if get bounds bottom dot intersects t dot get bounds, and if that's true we'll give this statement a body, and in the if statement we'll set jumping equal to true and gravity equal to 0.5. And now we're going to go into our handler class and actually spawn one. So scroll to create level sort of thing, and in our add tile new power up block line of code, actually instead of a new power up block tile we're just going to create a new star without a power up block. So I'm going to change add tile to add entity, and of course the entity will be a new power star. Like usual, the x coordinates will be x by 64, y by 64, and the width and height will be 64 and 64. Alright, and we need to create a star sort of constant in ID, so I'll just type star. Remember to put a comma after plant. Alright, and now we use that star ID for our power star thing. So after our height type ID dot power star, actually just ID dot star, and the handler will of course be this. We need to import power star, and there we go. So if I've typed the code right, everything should work. So let's run our game. Oh yeah, we need to go to our game class, then run it. Right, go to your claim class, then run your game. And I'll just skip forward to the part where we actually start seeing the star. Alright, so as you can see, the star was actually in the air, but it's not falling because we haven't set it to fall when it has been created. So we're going to do that now. Alright, so we'll go to our power star class, and in our constructor just set falling equal to true and gravity equal to 0.17 because we use 0.17 in our jumping and falling if statements. And now we're actually going to make it bounce. So to do that, we've done this before, it shouldn't be too difficult. We're going to check if our stars get bounds left rectangle dot intersects our tiles get bounds rectangle. Alright, I need to spell intersects right. Alright, there we go. And in this if statement, we don't actually need to give it a body. We'll simply type set val x then 4, because when the left side of our star collides with a tile, then it'll of course be going left, and by setting val x to a positive value, in which we're doing right now, it'll make it go right. And we're going to do the opposite for the right side of our star, so change get bounds left to get bounds right, and set val x 4 to set val x negative 4. Because if we set our val x to be a negative value, we will simply go left. Alright, so we'll run our game now. Alright, so I've gotten the star working. Now all you have to do to finish the episode is actually implement the collision detection, a star. Now we're going to go into our player class, and we're going to go down to our entity for loop. After else if e.getId is equal to id.Cooper, wherever that is. Yeah, it's a pretty big else if statement. After that, I'm going to type else if e.getId is equal to id.star. And if that's true, we're going to set invincible equal to true, and we'll make our star die. So we'll just type e.die. And of course, we get an error because there's no boolean in our player class called invincible yet. So just go to the top of your player class and create a private boolean. And of course, we're going to call it invincible. And we'll set that equal to, not true, we'll set it equal to false. And we're also going to create another private integer in our player class. And we're going to call it invincibility time. Invincibility time. Because when we get a star, our player is only invincible for a certain amount of time. And of course, we want to count the time and know when to make our player not invincible anymore. Alright, so now we'll scroll back to our else if statement. And actually, no, we're going to go to our else if Goomba e.getId is equal to id.Goomba else if statement, or e.getId is equal to id.towerboss, or id.plant. Before all this code in the else if statement, we're going to create two if statements. Well, one if statement and an else statement. If invincible is equal to true, and we're going to create an else statement for that. And that's the code that will get called when we're not invincible. So, all the code below us in the else if statement we're working in right now, we're going to copy all that code, and we'll paste it into our else statements. Whoa, what the hell happened there? There we go. Alright. So there we go. And in our if invincible if statements, all we can do, actually, we can just type e.die on one line of code for our invincible if statements, and then give our else statement a body. So now, this will work for Goombas, tower bosses, and plants, but it won't work for Coopers, because in this else if statement, we're not checking if our entity is a Goomba. So to do that, we're just going to copy this if invincible if statement, go to our Cooper else if statement, and paste it into there. And then after the if invincible if statement, we're going to make an else statement and paste all the other code into there. Alright, so I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, copy everything and paste it. And there we go. Now let's run our game. And hopefully it should work. Alright, so we'll go get our star. And as you can see, we collected a star and died, and we should be invincible. So if we run into our Cooper, as you can see, we kill it without killing ourselves. We'll try this for our piranha plants. Alright, there you go. As you can see, I killed them without any problem as well. And now we're going to actually make our invincibility only last for 10 seconds. And that's pretty simple. We just have to increment our invincibility time integer by 1 every tick, and then check if a certain amount of time has elapsed. So go to the top of your tick method, and we're going to make an if statement under x plus equals val x and y plus equals val y. We're going to be checking if invincible is equal to true. If invincible, alright, give that if statement a body. And in the if statement, we're going to increment invincibility time by 1. So to do that, we'll just type I can't spell it very fast. Invincibility time plus. Alright, I spelled invincibility time wrong. Alright, I'll just add an N, and there we go. Now we're going to check if we have been invincible for 10 seconds. And because our game runs at an average of 60 ticks per second, and our invincibility time integer is added by 1 every tick, invincibility time should be equal to around 600 when 10 seconds has elapsed. So we're going to be checking if invincibility time is greater than or equal to 600, and if that's true, we're going to set invincible equal to false and invincibility time equal to 0. So it'll pretty much reset the timer. Alright, so anyway, let's run our game. Alright, so we'll get our star. As you can see, we can kill creepers and everything now, but after 10 seconds, we shouldn't be able to kill our piranha plants. So I'll just wait a few more seconds, wait for our piranha plants to pop back up. Then if we walk into the piranha plants, as you can see, our invincibility has worn off and we actually die. Now, the problem with this is there's no way to tell if we're invincible or not and when it's going to run out. So that's what we're going to be implementing next episode. I'm not going to make this a mini-series like creepers or, what is it again, pipes. This episode will be based on actually creating the power star. The next episode will be based entirely on particle effects that will go with our power star. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up this episode here. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. If there's a topic you want me to cover in the next tutorial, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If someone you know is interested in learning how to program a game in Java, or is interested in watching game devlogs, please let them know about this channel. I would highly appreciate it. If you have a Twitter account, please feel free to follow me on Twitter. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.